today we are moving on to the next chapter. This chapter is all about solving quadratic equations. The first method we're going to learn is solving by graphing. And then the quiz is going to be right before October break. So we don't have another test or quiz until, I think it's October 3rd. There was something else I wanted to say. I don't remember. Okay, so the first way I told you I'm going to solve is by graphing. It's called finding the zeros. Another thing is, I don't know why the space is so short, finding the solution. Okay, so number one wants me to solve by graphing. What I'm going to do here is I am going to start off by typing this into my calculator. So remember to type into the calculator. I go to, I want to press enter. I go to y equals, and then I type in the equation. Oh, I remember what I wanted to tell you. The tests and quizzes are on paper from now on. Because the computer tests were way harder than they needed to be. They're on paper. Well, because now that it's on paper, I can like if I'm asking you to solve by graphing, I can actually see your graph. Whereas like on Canvas, you can't graph it. What about decimals? You can use that. No, because seeing on the computer, because this chapter asks you to solve by a lot of different methods. And the questions were show me the middle step of this process, and it's just confusing to understand. Whereas if it's on paper and you're naturally doing it, it's not as weird. Okay, so once I type it in, I want to graph it. Oh. We all make mistakes. Anyways, let's go graph it again. Nope, you just do just this part, the left side. Okay, so what I want to do, guys, no, just the left side. Okay, so now I need to actually know my values that this graph is going through. So I am going to press second and graph. This is not focused. So if I press the blue second and then the graph button, it gives me a table of values. Remember, when I was looking at this graph on the paper, it was on both the left and right sides. So I am going to arrow up to see negative values. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot at least 5 points. I'm typically going to pick the one that, can you be quiet, Jose? I'm typically going to pick the one at 0, and then I'm going to pick 2 negatives and 2 positive values to graph. Can I do this while, no. What? Okay, so I'm going to write my table of points I'm plotting. I'm going to cover this stuff up really quick. Yeah, we're going to plot this in a second on the paper, but I'm writing my table of values because remember that I told you the test was on paper, so you need to know how to plot the graph accurately. I'm actually going to do one more because I was solving by zeros. Okay, then I'm going to go plot my points. So I'm going to go -2, 0, -1, 4, Was that a -4 and I just forgot the sign? It was. Okay, so now that I have my points, I'm going to connect them. And my answer is where it's crossing the x-axis. So, no. So where it's at these 2 points. Yeah, so x equals -2 and x equals 3 are my answers. Questions there? That's one of the ways, yeah. Graphing is actually one of the easier ways. Well, but this one isn't factored, so if it's not factored, graphing is easier. What? Can I move on to number 2? Okay, this one wants me to solve, but notice how it's not set equal to 0. That's going to be my first step. These ones? Those are where it's crossing the x-axis, so where I had the y value of 0 on my table of values. Okay, so I want to set equal to 0, so I'm going to rewrite my problem. How do I get this equal to 0? Do I just white out the 4x and then write 0? Huh? How do I get it equal to 0? No. Think back to, like, algebra 1. I do not multiply by 0. No. No. You guys are thinking way too hard. I just want to subtract the 4x from both sides. So then I can't combine any like terms on the left side. So then I have -2x squared minus 4x minus 2 equals 0. Because on the right side they cancel out. So then I am going to type this into the calculator under y equals. I don't have the light on it. There you go. Okay, then I want to do what? How do I see my table of values? Second, and then graph. And then I have my table of values. So I'm going to write them down. Yeah. Zoom out. And then press enter. Well, then zoom 6 turns it back to what it should be. Yeah, zoom 6 turns it back to the way it normally should be. Okay, so I wrote down my points. I'm going to go plot these. It'll be off the graph. So then, like, -18 would be, like, off the graph right there.
Wait, how did you go -2, 0 to...
So if I go look at this graph, where's the graph? There's the graph. So it's shifted off to the side. Okay, so then what's my answer here? Where is it crossing the x-axis? What? Just -2. No, not -2, -1. Just -1. Okay, questions here. Bless you.